All right, let's just get this over with. Every single time it gets a little too hot or a little too wet, you know what happens. Your uncle, bless his heart, forwards you some grainy video on WhatsApp. It's the El Niño, he says. Or maybe it's La Niña. He's not sure. The point is, he's sharing.
And the news media, they just eat this stuff up. They'll point to some big, scary red map on the screen and say, "See this? This is why you're miserable." But what are these things really? And are they actually making more storms? You ask for the science? Fine, let's do the science. But I'm telling you right now, you're probably not going to like the answer. Because here's the thing about the actual science. It's complicated. And it proves that you and your uncle are only about half right. Which, let's be honest, is the most annoying way to be right.
I mean, seriously, they throw these names at you like you're supposed to be scared. El Niño, La Niña. They sound like a reggaeton duo that had one hit song in 2007, and now they're just here to wreck your weekend. Well, not today. Today, we're actually going to figure this out.
Okay, look, forget everything you've heard. We're going to start with an analogy so simple, so painfully simple, that even the WhatsApp uncle can get it.
So here's the deal. Just picture the Pacific Ocean as the world's biggest bathtub. You with me? Now, at one end of this tub, there's a giant fan that's pretty much always on. These are the trade winds, and for centuries, this fan always, and I mean always, blows in one direction, from east to west, from the Americas over towards Asia.
And what happens when you point a fan at a tub full of water? All the warm water on the surface gets pushed to one side. This is the normal state of things. All that warm, bathwater temperature water piles up over by the Philippines and Asia. That creates clouds, it gives them rain. Back on the other side, near South America, cold water from the bottom of the ocean comes up to replace it. It's called upwelling. The fish love it, the fishermen love the fish, everything is balanced, it's boring. And then, the planet decides to get weird.
Yeah, because about every 2 to 7 years, that giant fan either gets super lazy or it decides to go into absolute overdrive. And that's when we meet the two weirdos that mess the whole system out.
So first up is El Niño. This is the lazy fan. The trade winds just get weak, and that huge pile of warm water they push to the west, it just sloshes all the way back to the east. Then you've got La Niña. This is the fan on turbo mode. The winds get even stronger, piling up an absolute mountain of warm water in the west.
You know, this is actually how El Niño got its name. Centuries ago, fishermen off the coast of Peru noticed this weird warm water would show up right around Christmas, and it would just obliterate their fish stocks. So they called it El Niño, the little boy, as in the Christ child. Yeah, they named the total collapse of their economy after baby Jesus. That's a level of dark humor I can really get behind.
Of course, scientists couldn't leave it at that. They had to give this whole soap opera a very boring, official-sounding name, the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or just ENSO, if you're feeling fancy. It's the whole shebang, the boy, the girl, and the normal, boring state in between.
All right, so, to the big question. The one you're all here for, the question your uncle thinks he's an expert on. Does all this back-and-forth mess create more cyclones, more hurricanes, more typhoons?
This is the one, isn't it? Every time a big storm hits the news, someone, somewhere, blames El Niño for just making more storms. So, is the planet just angrier these days? Is it cranking out storms on a production line?
No! What, did you really think the planet would just make more storms? Out of what, spite? Do you think Earth is running some kind of storm factory and El Niño gets the Employee of the Month award? No. What El Niño and La Niña do is they change the address. It's a giant planetary storm shuffle. ENSO is the DJ, and it's telling the storms where the party's at this year.
So how does it move the storms? Well, it uses a secret weapon, a hurricane-killing monster called vertical wind shear. You need to remember this one. Wind shear is just when the wind down low is going one way, and the wind way up high is going a completely different way.
See, a baby hurricane is a very fragile thing. It's trying to stack itself up into this nice, perfect, spinning column of air. But then wind shear comes along and just decapitates it. It literally shears the top right off the storm before it can even get going. It's a storm assassin.
And this is how the trade-off works. During an El Niño, the Atlantic Ocean is full of that storm-killing wind shear, so it gets fewer hurricanes. Good for them.
The Philippines also gets a break, with fewer typhoons, because all their warm storm fuel has sloshed away. But during La Niña, it's the exact opposite. The wind shear over the Atlantic disappears, basically turning it into a hurricane alley. And for the Philippines, you're in the splash zone. Think about it. During La Niña, that fan is on turbo. All that hot, angry ocean water, which is basically rocket fuel for storms, is piled up in a mountain right next to the Philippines. So storms don't form 5,000 miles away anymore. No, their genesis location is so close, it's practically in your driveway. And the result? More storms make landfall, and the ones that do are way more intense.
Okay, so we're done, right? It's just a big natural cycle. El Niño comes, La Niña goes. It's been happening for thousands of years. Who cares? Well, that brings us to the kicker. Why does it feel so much worse now?
And this is where your uncle's WhatsApp message gets its one tiny little grain of truth. ENSO is a natural cycle, yes. But here's the problem. We have changed the bathtub. We've been slowly turning up the heat on the whole planet. The whole tub is warmer now. So now, when a storm does form, the water it's feeding on is already warmer than it was 50 years ago. The air holds more moisture. The scientific consensus is pretty clear on this. We are not creating more storms. But the storms that do form are becoming way more powerful. We're just giving the ones we already had steroids. We're seeing more Category 4s and 5s, the real monsters.
And if that wasn't enough for you, here's the final kick in the teeth from science. Climate change isn't just warming the tub, it's starting to mess with the fan itself. Projections are now showing that we can expect a doubling in the frequency of those powerful El Niño events in the future. That nice natural cycle? Yeah, we're breaking it.
So there you have it. That's the science. The weather is not trying to kill you by making more storms. It's just shuffling their addresses around. And this whole shuffle is now happening in a warmer, wetter, angrier world that makes every storm a potential monster. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I left the water running in my bathtub.